Hey, it's Soul, and welcome back to Warcraft Weekly, the show that has suddenly slanted towards advocating for solo players, although as usual, some would disagree. Help us all out by hitting the like button, subscribing for more content, and let's begin with quick-firing a couple of bullet points first. Raid Finder Wing 3 is out, but you still didn't get anything from it. Sorry. Hints of a Wrath of the Lich King Classic version appeared on a Season of Mastery build, which comes as no surprise to anyone really. Pokepo customization is now in the game. Wowhead calls it a hotfix, but I ain't seen no hotfix notes, so I'm gonna call this one time gating. Over the weekend, we accidentally learned about Dragonflight, presumably the name of WoW's next expansion, but outside of a supposedly leaked image that is extremely plausible, I should add, we know nothing outside of what many have been guessing for months or years. Like, where did the time go? With all that stuff out of the way, it's been a while since I covered this particular topic, but it's hard to ignore this one, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Just this week, Activision Blizzard announced that it would convert nearly all of its quality assurance workers from contract to bona fide full-time employees of their respective studios. On top of all of that, all of them would have their salary raised to a minimum of $20 an hour. Depending on the region, that could be a massive pay bump, while in California, I guess it's a more competitive wage. There is a catch though. The QA team at Raven Software, which is in the process of unionizing, will not be onboarded or receive these raises. According to Bloomberg News, they're being excluded, quote, due to our legal obligations under the National Labor Relations Act. The Game Workers Alliance sent a response applauding the move for the 1,100 soon-to-be employees, but also said that, quote, their decision to exclude us, the workers of GWA, is their attempt to divide workers and undermine our right to unionize. The company's assertion that the NLRA prevents Activision from including Raven QA workers is simply a ploy to punish us for choosing to stand shoulder to shoulder with our fellow workers as GWA. However, in an article from GameDeveloper.com, Activision Blizzard has precedents to rely on when they made this decision. From the article, it does seem likely that Activision Blizzard's legal argument here would hold water. The company is citing a Supreme Court decision that ruled compensation increases can be interpreted as undue influence in the unionizing process. We checked in with USC Gold School of Law lecturer Thomas Lenz, who previously worked as a National Labor Relations Board attorney. Though he couldn't comment on the specifics of this case, he did explain that implementing the compensation changes in the midst of a unionization is, quote, very complex. Lenz explained that there are a number of reasons why an employer giving raises to unionizing employees might be viewed as undue influence, and that most employers choose the path of caution when in situations similar to Activision Blizzard's. He added there are circumstances where withholding pay increases to unionizing employees could be viewed as retaliatory, but it would require documentation of previously promised increases or regular increases being withheld. Now, I do recall Activision Blizzard saying something to Raven QA employees that, oh, we're going to hire you on, we're going to do something for you, and then they didn't, but ultimately, I'm no expert on this at all. Like you, I'm reacting to talking points and emotional clickbait. The cynical part of me, which does in fact exist, tells me that Activision is being pretty petty, right? Like they'll go this far to mess with union organization. A bunch of recently hired QA workers may feel discouraged from supporting a union if it's put up for a studio-wide vote, but I don't fully understand the legal ramifications of Activision Blizzard playing it safe according to this legal precedence. I guess it's there for a reason. I still want your takes and your angry anti-Kotick sentiment, but it's worth pointing out that hiring 1,100 QA workers to be full-time employees is still a massive win on the individual level, thanks to just the threat of organizing. Now, I get that from the outside, it's easy to look in and say that, oh, that is clearly not enough, but I still remember what it was like being contract QA before I got hired on. My bosses, they did their best, but ultimately the company policy didn't treat me in a way that made me feel valued. The pay sucked, the benefits, like what benefits? I'd watch full-time employees go off to do their cool company events while we went home thinking, oh shoot, our contract is going to be up in a few days and we haven't been notified of an extension, might as well sign up for unemployment now just in case. And that wasn't personal, but it definitely felt that way. So I'm really glad that a game studio is treating its workers the way they should have been treated in the first place. Moving on to a kind of random topic, but I have serious doubts that BlizzCon 2022 is happening. Big reasons include the pandemic, which still isn't over in spite of restrictions being mostly lifted, and there's a still very present cloud of controversy in the wake of the Blizzard lawsuit, ongoing efforts to unionize, and, the overall anti-Blizzard sentiment. I joked that if there was a BlizzCon, that the convention would be dwarfed by the protesters outside, but is that really a joke or reasonable speculation? And then, of course, they didn't announce it yet. These aren't just reasons to not have a BlizzCon, but reasons for me to not go to one. So, well, why did I book a room as a precaution? You see, April is typically the month when the BlizzCon is announced. During May, the rounds of tickets are sold. This is all very much on schedule. BlizzCon itself is held at the Anaheim Convention Center, and the majority of them have been held around the first week of November, give or take a few days. According to the Anaheim Convention Center's website, that weekend has open availability, but the location is under no obligation to say whether those days are really available. Booking space there, it's not like booking a hotel room, and they can reserve space without actually being on the record. And then there's this low-key tweet, which includes a conversation with someone who allegedly works with the convention center to book events like BlizzCon, which could be fake. Even if it wasn't fake, there's no guarantee that there would be a BlizzCon, just that they considered it enough to throw down the money to book it, just in case. We don't know if they've replenished their live events team, many of whom were laid off in 2021 because of the pandemic. We don't know if there's anyone to lead it after their executive producer left Blizzard later that year. So I doubt that BlizzCon 2022 is going to happen. It makes me feel a little bit anxious if it were to happen this year for the reasons that I talked about. Heck, I'm sure that most of my guildmates who usually come probably won't this year for their own numerous reasons. But I really miss BlizzCon though. I miss the energy. I miss being surrounded by fellow shills and having a chance to bump fists with the people that I only see in pictures and videos, like developers and content creators and viewers who remind me how small I truly am. November is a ways away, but it's gonna be here before we know it. A lot could change, whether it's Blizzard's image or the state of the pandemic and, etc. I'm a mix of feelings right now, but I want to hear from you. Do you want there to be a BlizzCon? Would you go if given the chance? Why or why not? Moving on, the Creation Catalyst is expected to activate next week if all goes according to plan, and I apologize for the screw up before saying that it wouldn't be available until the 19th. Just the other day, Blizzard made it official in a hotfix that gear obtained with sand-worn relics in Zereth Mortis will qualify as pieces that can be transformed into tier. We did it. Honk honk. Buying a helmet, shoulders, chest, gloves, or legs, and plugging it into the Catalyst will give you the tier version of that slot. This has really big implications for tier, which has gone through its own sort of revolution during its return in patch 9.2. We've been through nearly 2 expansions without tier sets, with game developers at the time set on the idea that to get the best gear, sometimes you've got to go outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself with a different experience. So okay, nice platitude when it comes to making real life choices, but this is just a video game. I've observed that there's such a thing as going too far outside the wheelhouse, and that's been an obstruction to fun. The start of 9.2 let PvPers and raiders get access to tier via the Great Vaults each week. That's a first, and it works going in this direction in particular because unlike PvP gear or dungeon gear, tier sets and bonuses are much more transformative and arguably more fun. Soon, the Creation Catalyst will open up this opportunity for solo players who don't participate in any group content whatsoever, giving them that transformative feel as well. It'll also be a powerful catch-up for other players who have had bad luck collecting tier. With Sandworn gear thrown into the mix, players are going to have a farmable way to target the exact piece of gear that they want. Now, it's not best in slot. The item level of 246 is frankly, pretty sad, but for the sake of completing a 2 or 4 set bonus, it's hard for anybody to pass up on such an easy opportunity. Many have argued that the Catalyst should have been activated sooner, and I don't have a strong opinion on that, other than I hope that Blizzard listens to the feedback while acknowledging that the loudest voices aren't automatically right. Now, I've tried to paint the Catalyst as a very big deal for World of Warcraft both in the short and long term because I believe it's true. Tier sets have never been this accessible before. With a patch 9.2.5 and a Season 4 coming, it stands to reason that the team is discussing next season's tier, will there be a set at all? Will it be the same with different item levels? Something totally new maybe? Because the Creation Catalyst is different things to different players. For solo players, This thing is the only way to get tier. It's the only path. It's their progression system. For everyone else, it's more or less bad luck protection. Although, some would say that after killing this many bosses, after this many weeks on this many characters, that this is definitely a progression system as well. It's just a little bit more subjective. What excites me is that the WoW team is giving themselves and us a chance to learn how all of this can play out now, at the end of an expansion where they can, kind of sort of play around. If we thought we were in beta lands now, we might be in for a treat. Or a hellscape, and that's the show. So it's about that time, right? How'd we do this week? Run, and then we will phase. Are you kidding me? So I've had issues throughout the week. Internet has been a total jackass. It denied me my Tuesday stream, thanks. And I swear the jailer would have went down on that poll. Probably. I promise. Maybe. Oh, and not only that, we even had guild drama. I know I'm sounding giddy about it. I shouldn't, because one dude had their night ruined, and I do feel bad about that. But I tried to make it super clear beforehand that we progress through raids semi-blind. I have to repeat this like pretty much all the time when we go through a raid the very first time. So, well, let's roll the clip.
Half a second and then swings again.
Yeah. Because we don't watch videos.
Fake news.
Welcome to the guild, buddy.
Wait, hold on.
Welcome to the guild.
Are you asking why it's so hard to watch a 5-minute video, but you've been mind controlled every attempt we've done? It's just like, if you're gonna say something like that, don't get mind controlled by a simple mechanic, dude.
So here's the deal with that stuff. When they want answers are around here, but we do this shit blind. Shut the fuck up and enjoy it, man. It's like old school days.
Oh, stage 2.
Oh shit! All right, let's watch. Stay alive. Let's see what happens.
Oh god, no!
What happened?
Oh no!
He had the debuff.
Stage 2, we splat the bear.
Fucking roadkill.
He ran.
Oh!
Look out! Run.
Oh god.
I didn't do that.
I Hearthstone read as you guys did that too.
You should have watched the video, guys.
That would have solved every single problem.
Just 5 minutes. What are you guys doing?
Holy shit.
File. Oh, nice. I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna. Oh, someone run in there. Get it. Get into the file. Get it.
Wait, what the fuck is this?
I'm not touching the file.
Get in it, you coward.
So I gotta run.
I jumped. I thought I was gonna kill her.
Yeah. Easy
Dirty
fight.
little secrets.
Should we watch a
So
video,
you need a
guys?
lot more movement in phase 2, I think.
Guys,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we need
yeah,
to watch
so-
a video. I think she's right. It's the only way we'll kill this.
I wish
Okay.
you would have given us the link before he left. We're never going to be able to find the video.
This is not a diss on elitism or a diss on depending on guides or add-ons. It's not me trying to say that our way of playing WoW is better than yours, despite me feeling pretty proud that our team shares my mindset to varying degrees, or at the very least, they respect it enough to watch as the rest of us try to figure fights out and then they laugh by themselves quietly. This is a lesson in compatibility and communication within a team. Notice how in regular WoW discourse, we're used to hearing people bitch that you gotta know the fights, you must have watched the guides and have all the boss mods and the weak auras, and you gotta be nailing them plus 15s every single week. We, in my guild and whatnot, we're very different in that I'm like, say nothing. If you happen to know the strat, just like, okay? It sucks that what we do and how we do it is very much the minority of gamers in WoW, but it works just the same. You have that one person acting all different while the rest of us wonder what the deal is and we make them feel like the weirdo. Feel free to voice your own opinion on that little exchange. It's not like I can stop you, but I do want to thank you for coming and making it to the end of today's show. I apologize for the missing stream day this week, but I want to give thanks to the folks on Twitch, especially those who had gifted subs for, keeping the machine running. Of course, there's also the valued patrons like Melissa, and to Anna Blue, one of you gets to keep your raid spot. We'll hash that out later. And let's not forget you, viewer, whether you've been here for a while or if you're new to the channel, thank you very, very much for coming. I really appreciate it. And so would the like button. button and the subscribe button too. Like, they do cool things for me while, not really bothering you all that much. Thanks for all your folks' support, and I'll see you next week where I'll try to cover the best of League season. Now that it's about wrapped up, we'll set up maybe some predictions for the big April 19th announcement, and of course there's going to be lots of bloviating. Until then, folks, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.